YouTube, good morning. How's everybody doing? Is everybody concerned as I am with what's going on in Trump's decision on these tariffs? If you're not, I would ask you to reevaluate your perception of things, because most of us who voted for Trump believed wholeheartedly that he was going to add value to trucking specifically, make good decisions, and support truck drivers. And that's certainly not going to happen with these tariffs. We are in imminent danger. Most of us truck drivers, we read the newspaper. We talk to other drivers about politics. We watch the internet on politics and news, and that's about the extent of our, knowledge on the subject. And I steer clear of politics generally because I'm ignorant, right? I don't. It doesn't concern me. I don't enjoy talking about it. It's not it's not a topic of conversation that intrigues me. I'm disinterested for the most part. But what I am interested in is preserving my ability to earn a living. And with what I see is happening right now, and Trump deciding to move forward with these tariffs, I mean, it's official at this point. I didn't talk about it because I thought it was chin music. That's on. And I know it sounds foolish, it sounds ignorant, it sounds naive, right? But I honestly thought there's no way that he would implement this, because he understands, he has a basic knowledge and understanding of economics and how it's going to crumble, right, at the foundation of our of business. Part and parcel of the foundation of business in North America is due to NAFTA, right? The North American Free Trade Agreement, which was implemented in the 80s, I believe, yeah. And I'm old enough to remember a time before NAFTA. Mind you, I was very young. But I do remember it being a big deal when they signed this agreement. And what it enabled us to do is to trade freely within North America, right? And do business. So Kellogg's and, you name it, could have a factory in Canada, right? They could have a factory in Mexico, a manufacturing facility, however you want to call it, do business down there, utilize the resources in Canada, utilize resources in Mexico. Well, hold on, Driver's Lounge. What resources does Mexico have that the United States doesn't have? Well, that's a good question. How about affordable labor, right? How about, let's go and, how about Dyson puts a factory or a manufacturing facility in Mexico. They can build their vacuums for, $30 and sell them for $500 in the rest of the world, right? Or whatever. I mean, that's what it enabled us all to do business freely within North America, is my understanding of it. Now now all of a sudden, these same people that voted for Trump, right? The same people that said it's going to be a good idea to put Trump in office, me being one of them, are now going, I mean, what? Hello, Donald? Hello, Donald? What exactly are you trying to prove here? What exactly are you doing? what gave you the idea that this was going to be beneficial for our country, right? I mean, you cannot honestly believe that eroding the last 50 years of businesses operating freely, and all of a sudden now here we are, and you think you're just going to spin this around on its head and this is going to be good for our economy? I mean, that's what these people are saying. Like, hello, like, do you have syphilis of the brain? Like, between you and Elon Musk, I'm not sure what's going on at this point. But I know that when we voted as truck drivers for Donald Trump, I can tell you that we were all under the impression that he was going to benefit this business, right? He was going to add value to trucking, and by implementing these tariffs, the only thing that he's done is decimate this industry. I mean, if we all understand this, right? If it doesn't pay to produce something in Mexico or Canada, then we don't need to ship it, right? And if we don't need to ship it, well, hold on, Driver's Lounge. There's lots of work. I don't go to Canada or the U.S. anyway. What do I care? Hello, Doughhead, what do you think comes on these shipping containers? What do you think comes by air? What do you think comes by rail? You think you're going to do the same amount of business with these tariffs? No, you're not, and you're fooling yourself if you think that's the reality. You're more ignorant than I am, right? What's going to happen is people are going to stop spending money. What happens when people stop spending money in trucking, guys? What happens? We know what happens, right? When you have individuals like this guy Trucks, who had a minimum of 3, 4, 5 jobs a year for the last, however long, bouncing from job to job. He's at the same job for the last, 6 months now, maybe longer. There's your first indication right there what's happening to trucking. Okay? Sad but true. Right? All of these people that, all these job hoppers, there's no more job hopping. Things have gotten really tight in trucking, and at this point now, with the implementation of these tariffs, it's going to just, it's not going to be good for anybody. And I'm not sure how it's all going to play out. But we can see, like, other countries are just saying, if you wanna play like this, we can play like this too, right? And they're biting back. What do we expect them to do? Lay on their back and take it dry? I mean, come on. This is ridiculous. So I think, like, I never thought to talk about. I heard about the tariffs and I shrugged it off. I'm like, there's no way this guy, there's no way Trump's going to be that foolish to go down that road. I mean, he has more sense than that. Evidently not. So now we find ourselves in this position where all of our jobs are on the line. I mean, if we're only going to, if we're going to stop importing from Canada and the U.S., what do you think is going to happen to trucking? I mean, they just built this big bridge crossing Detroit and Windsor, in order to keep the flow of commercial trade moving you know, like specifically, they implemented all of, like, you should go down to, if you ever get a chance to go down to the Gordie Howe Bridge and see all of the infrastructure that's been put in place specifically to keep commerce moving, you know, between Canada and the U.S. It's the biggest, busiest and it's the hub of commercial trade in North America, is the Ambassador Bridge between Canada and the U.S. You know, that's where the majority of our crossings are, right? That's where a majority of, like, there's so much that goes on between Mexico, Canada, and the U.S. as far as industry and commerce, and it's been like that for so long. To flip it on its head and think that it's going to be beneficial for us is just insane. It's insane. And I don't know if you guys all want to just, like, you know, well, let's see how it plays out. I mean, it's not going to be good. Anyways, you know, I wanted to come on and talk about the, every time I start thinking about this, and it's so depressing, and I just feel like, I feel foolish, right? Because who would have thought that this guy would implement this crap? Who would have ever thought that he would move forward and you know, and do this? Not me. I never thought for a second. And there's a few other trucking channels out there that are Trump supporters, and I'd be interested to know their take on all of this. And, you know, it's sad to say, but these guys here, the couple channels I'm thinking of, they're going to be all for it, and they're not even, you know, these guys don't do any border crossing. They don't have a real, like, intellectual understanding of the what's going to happen with all of this, right? Because they just kind of go within the 48 states and they just keep doing circles around, you know, within the U.S. So, like, when you start talking tariffs, they're like, oh, great, more commerce to move within the U.S. No, wake up. That's not how it's going to work. That's not how it's going to work at all. Everything's going to come to an abrupt halt. In trucking, specifically, is what I'm talking about. You're talking about probably moving 50% less freight. Yeah, I would go so far as to say 50%. You tell me what's going to happen. Like I said, I was going to talk about a couple other things. We all see what's going on with the lease purchase, right? Of course, they're finally stepping in, saying, oh no, this might not be good. Now, I have to do a little more research into this because, you know, for them to step in now after all this time, they've known that these lease purchases are predatory and all that. They've known. So I got to ask myself, why would they now step forward and say, oh, well, we got to put the kibosh on this? I'm not sure. I got to do a little bit of research because they're not doing it for the benefit of us. You know, we'll see. But I think it's a step in the right direction as long as it's been being done for the right reasons. I know I haven't made a video in a couple weeks. Quite honestly, just been hunkered down like most of us. There's not much going on in trucking right now. Why? Because everybody's biting their nails. What is Trump gonna do? Right? What is going on? How is it, how are we gonna be impacted? What is gonna be our answer? And so trucking has just kind of been like, right? There's nothing really going on. And I think all of us can sense it. All of us can sense the change, that's happening. And but we're all kind of like, let's wait and see. But I don't feel like it's going to be good. I know it's not going to be good. To the extent and how quickly it's going to go to shit, I can't be sure. It's just unbelievable. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section. I'm going to make a few more videos. It's early. I just wanted to come on and say hello. But I'm going to be talking about this as I gain some more knowledge, some more information. I'm going to speak about it more like elaborately, I guess you could say. I'm going to speak about it with a little bit more education and yeah, I think like I need to just do a little more research, see how this is going to play out, because it's not actually in effect yet, right? So I guess it's today's the 3rd, February 3rd, and I think they said tomorrow is going to be the first day of this implemented tariffs things. Brace yourself. Brace yourself. Yeah, it's going to be ugly. Going to get ugly real fast. Driver's Lounge over and out.